Well, I live alone now, but my family support me. There's two of my family work to keep the books in circulation. My former wife of 29 years, she runs the whole operation just 5 minutes from here. I decided a long time ago, when I started to realize what was happening, that there was nothing for me to do with my life other than try to alert people to what was going on, and also alert people to the way that their sense of who they are and their sense of reality and the sense of what the world is they live in has been distorted, manipulated, and sold to them as a fake persona and a fake reality. And so I get up every morning and I go to bed every night, and between the two I focus almost the entire time on doing what I do. My family kind of support me in this and all the rest of it, but to be honest, if they didn't, and if no one else did, I would still do it, and I'd still do it with the passion that I do it. As Gandhi said, even if you're in a minority of one, the truth is still the truth. But the great thing is that I'm not in a minority of one. What's happened is that the manipulators have hijacked the mainstream of public awareness and public information. And there are people all over the world that basically think and see reality in the same way, who have no idea that there are others all over the world that see reality in the same way. So they think I'm different, I'm odd, I must have got it wrong, I must be crazy. And what I'm trying to do, and what I am doing, I've had a lot of success in doing it, is to be a voice there that says, hey, you're not alone. You know, you're not alone. And if I've had a reaction more than any other over the years, it's thank goodness I realized I wasn't crazy. There are other people that think like me. And it's kind of an antidote to divide and rule. And it's having an effect without any doubt. I mean, I was talking to a man and a dog when I started out. You see, the world population is in a hypnotic trance. This is the thing. Our consciousness experiencing it in this reality for a short time through this, what I call this body computer. And the computer can think for itself up to a point. It's not like a computer that just takes in data and then reacts to order. It has the ability to assess information and react on the basis of that assessment. That's what things like the immune system are doing all the time. And if our consciousness goes to sleep or cannot get enough impact on the computer, then basically the computer runs itself. And I see so many people in what I call computer mode, where you can predict what they're going to do just as much as you can type data into a computer and press enter. You know what the computer's going to do. You can do that with people. We are programmable until we become much more conscious than we are. When we are in what I call just body consciousness, we are extremely programmable because this is a computer. And people don't realize that the five senses are just sending information to the brain, which then decodes that information. And so if you are in a hypnotic stage show, I've seen people eating potatoes, for instance, and thinking they were apples. I've seen people who thought there was an elephant in the audience. Why? Because the hypnotist implants into the brain, if you like, the lower mind stroke brain, a belief in reality. And that's the same principle as in China, where they firewall off most of the internet so that people there cannot access it. What the hypnotist is doing is basically imposing interrupting the normal decoding mechanism of the brain. So with the example of the potato and the apple, the electrical signal carrying the taste of the potato, it goes to the brain as normal, but it decodes it differently because of the implanted belief that the guy's eaten an apple. And this basic principle is used on us all the time, not least through the greatest hypnotist known to humanity at this time, the television, which is telling us constantly what to believe is real, what to believe in terms of who we are, what to believe is success, what to believe life is about. And if we then go through an education system which is nothing more than indoctrinating children with the official version of reality, then by the time we become adults, we can become, if we are not holding our consciousness, we can become only body conscious, and we can become programmed in the way that we see the world. We can become hypnotized, like stooges on the stage of a hypnotist. What information does is it basically reminds people of facts they already know and realities they already know, but the hypnosis has made them forget, i.e. we are all infinite consciousness. And it triggers them to start to wake up. It's like whispering in their ear, wake up, wake up, wake up. Your infinite consciousness, remember. And it can have a very powerful effect on people, where people wake up real fast and go, whoa, why didn't I see it before? Because you just woke up from the trance. And it's information is a very, very powerful thing for changing people's sense of reality. And that's what I'm trying to do, get it into places it wasn't getting before. Einstein has a wonderful phrase. It's been quoted using different ways, but basically it says this: you cannot solve problems with the same level of consciousness that created them. Now, what we're living in is a world that is controlled by the intellect, which is a very low level of consciousness. The intellect operates through the left brain overwhelmingly, and it's about language, it's about seeing the world in parts, it's about looking at the complexity and delving into the complexity, and it's about, can I see it, touch it, taste it, smell it, therefore it must exist. There are so many dots to connect, there's so much information to present and connect before the apparently ludicrous starts to make logical sense. The mainstream media will never ever give you enough time to make those connections. So what I do with that whole reptilian side of my work is I'll talk about it in my own public presentations, where I can give it as much time as I decide to give it. I write about it extensively in my books for the same reason, but in the mainstream I will not talk about it because I know that it's going to be reported in the same way. Oh, it says giant space lizards run the world, and I'll ask you a question which answers your question. What level of consciousness controls the mainstream media? The intellect, and sometimes a very, very, very low level of intellect. And therefore, apart from the odd journalist who is more whole-brained, if you like, and multi-level consciousness, not just intellectually conscious, then they're just not going to see it. They're not going to get it. I mean, it's extraordinary that you can talk to a lady with no formal education and all the rest of it, and she gets it, and can see it and can feel it. And then you talk to a journalist or an intellectual from Oxford University, and they look at you as if you've just walked off a spaceship, because they can't get it, because they're not accessing those levels of consciousness that can get it. So, of course, an intellect-controlled media is going to see me as crazy, insane, dotty, I think it's a word I use, and all the rest of it. So, but you have to accept that. But I have learned one great thing over the years: people can't unhear something, and the reason that enormous numbers of people are now turning to my work, overwhelmingly the reason is because things I wrote about in my books years ago are now happening. That's the key reason. And if I had not said and wrote what I did, despite the ridicule and the hostility, then they'd have never read it, and they'd have never then seen that it's happening now.
Hvem din nye ven, Kamilla? Det en som du kan stole på? Det en du kan ta trygt i hånden når veien synes håpløst lang å gå? Natten vil komme snart, Kamilla. Da blir himmelen mørk med stjerner på, og du trenger en å ta i hånden, for ennå har du langt igjen å gå. Kamilla, Kamilla, hva tenker du nå? Tør du tro han en venn som du kan stole på? Kamilla, Kamilla, hva tenker du nå? Tør du tro han en venn som du kan stole på? Gråt ikke mer for meg, Kamilla, for mitt liv som tyv helt forbi. Jeg må ta den straffen jeg fortjener, så kommer jeg igjen, da jeg fri. Sebastian, en dag du fri, og det skal bli en dag med ny